Amaron and the Planet K, the stunning alien close encounter of Amaury from Puerto Rico, the most impressive abduction in history. Imagine a face-to-face encounter with aliens. This is what happened to a man in the island of Puerto Rico, along with 14 more people. Let's start with this mind-blowing account. Late in the night, in the summer of 1981, at 4 o'clock in the morning, Amaury was driving from a celebration back home. He was driving his car and a sudden fog began to form on the road, so he slowed down. Suddenly, after a curve, he finds in the middle of the road like some children playing. As he gets closer, he breaks down and sees one child right ahead. He realizes that they have like masks, but playing at this time of night. To his surprise, these big-headed children got closer to the vehicle, and there he discovered that something goes wrong, that these beings were not children at all. Terror struck him, and then he blacked out. Minutes later, he regained consciousness in a kind of room with metallic appearance, sitting like in a cinema with several rows of seats in which more people were seated, all of them in shock. No one dared to move or whisper a word. Where were they? What was that place? And who were those frightful silent creatures with black big eyes and a stalking look? The situation was surreal. Shock and dismay could be seen in the room. A woman was sobbing. Another person fainted. Amaury was sweating. He didn't want to be there. He wanted to run, but where? Suddenly, a human-like being appears, dressed in black, with boots, dark straight hair almost to the shoulders, very tan complexion. He would measure about 5 feet and a half, and with a perfect Spanish, he introduced himself as Amaron from the planet K. Standing there in front of the audience, Amaron, escorted by 2 small aliens with big heads, apologizes for the sudden eruption in their lives, but they had the need to inform not only of the existence of other inhabited worlds in the universe, but that the existence of advanced civilizations scattered throughout the cosmos is the rule. Life is nothing random. There is a mastermind behind the creation. He commented that the big-headed beings were like android robots, totally harmless, who assisted in multiple tasks on his planet, greatly simplifying their lives. Don't be afraid, Amaron commented softly to the audience. We are friends. You are safe here. He also reported that they believe in a God, who they call the originator, who created the universe and seeded the stars with life. Therefore, for our information, life on planet Earth is not exclusive. The originator showed everywhere, in all corners of the universe, seeds of life, similar to human beings. The majority of these sister civilizations, since they come from the same creator, reach utopian standards of living through their high conscience and morality, in complete harmony with the planet, and this was one of the lessons. The problem with the Earth is that there was an interference with an interdimensional being, and our civilization deviated from the expected evolution line. Since the originator seeks the growth and evolution of souls, in addition to his complete happiness. This statement can be a surprise to many people who think that we are alone in the universe, when in fact we are the last neighbors of the corner block, a rookie and noisy civilization. Then Amaron presented 3 videos on a big screen, informing not only about the activities of their planet K, but also on future events regarding Earth. Their advanced technology would allow them to visualize coming events on the timeline. In the first screening, the video showed what life was like on their planet. There was a total harmony between its inhabitants, who were vegetarians. They had eliminated all kinds of diseases, enjoying full health and vitality. Old age had also been genetically eliminated, so that all adult individuals look no more than 30 years old. The planet was a huge garden full of life, being deeply cared for. Flowers everywhere, lush forests, rivers and waterfalls of pure and crystalline water. Amaron told them that the planet Earth, they call it Creo, initially shared a similar splendor like his planet. The big-headed beings perform much of the routine tasks such as the collection of fruits and vegetables on huge farms. They probably also carried out production tasks in factories, construction and all kinds of labor. Very effective androids, semi-human, as they had certain emotional capacities. He showed them what life was like in their villages and their cities, with buildings made like glass forming incredible structures. They lived in family groups, enjoying nature, bathing in huge pools, without malice or ego. Several races lived together, and the images of mothers with their children appeared, radiating complete happiness. The animals were tamed, even some like lions were kept as pets by children. It was how life had to be in the earthly paradise. Finally, they saw structures in the desert where they build their spaceships and how they fly at an incredible speed, without making any kind of noise. In the second screening, they saw an event that in the future would affect the Caribbean area, especially the island of Puerto Rico. A big asteroid would impact the ocean, creating a huge tsunami that would sweep away much of the island, causing a great loss of human life and general devastation. This asteroid would be the beginning of major complications since it would unleash earthquakes of great magnitude. Hundreds of volcanoes would erupt, and all this instability generated would cause, in some cases, nuclear accidents, unleashing chaos never seen before on Earth. In the book of Revelation, Apostle John speaks of the star wormwood, which turned the waters bitter. In the third projection, it was shown how the Earth had been turned into an immense landfill, with contaminated rivers and springs, with high levels of radioactivity, and the destructions of millions and millions of lives. Dark clouds surrounded the entire planet, and the very air was unbreathable. The elite, a unique world government in a selfish way, had prepared for themselves a private refuge that was impossible to access or live. Most of the humans, the survivors, lived in caves or destroyed cities, in a gloomy land with hardly any resources, decimated by pests and diseases, eating what they could. Survivors of a dying planet, mortally wounded by the fall of the deadly asteroid. Amaury and the rest of the companions were in absolute shock, anguished, contemplating with extreme reality first the destruction of his island and then that of the entire planet. One was crying, another lost consciousness. Amaury thought to escape, running from the room, but where? In those moments he hated Amaron and those dwarf beings that produced him an immense repulsion. The screaming ended with a glimmer of hope. A huge spaceship in the shape of a bright and golden city descending through the thick toxic fog and settled on the planet's surface and rescuing the few survivors from all corners of the planet to start a new life, in which over time the Earth would enter into a new process of human development according to divine laws. This last revelation curiously also fits with the scriptures, specifically its mention in Revelation with the millennium of the rule of Christ among humans, the survivors. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, where all things of the past have already been. After the presentation, all abductees were safely returned to the island. Amaury, who was a denier in these issues, had an emotional impact that lasted for years. He was very affected by this unwanted experience, which turned into a deep trauma, mainly because of the repulsion that he had over the big heads aliens. in addition to the realistic video that presented them with a bleak future for the planet. Most of the witnesses, men and women from different areas of the island and with different backgrounds, overwhelmed by this abduction, preferred to remain anonymous. Some, who were believers, couldn't accept the idea that intelligence outside this world could exist. They think this fact is contrary to biblical teaching. There were a total of 15 witnesses, and Amaury finished the abduction, was put back near the car. Luckily, had a camera in the rear seat and was able to take a dozen snapshots of the coin-shaped saucer, along with several plane fighters from the US Navy. The jet fighters detected the presence of the object and flew over it at a very short distance. The photographs were analyzed by a laboratory in the city of Phoenix in Arizona. The imaging expert, a former NASA official, certified that the photographs were authentic. The concealment of this phenomena by certain governments and especially by NASA is very sad. The NASA top brass keep us in suspense with the possibility of life on Martian land, but they silence about the presence of these brothers from the cosmos. This concealment is a crime against mankind. It seems that they fear that this contact will make them lose control of people. They don't want mankind to have a real takeoff, and they will never let us. But God, the great architect, the originator, despite the thieves and killers of truth, in due course will bring the change that this planet needs.